Welcome to Keto Beyond the Couch, episode 367.
I'm Rachel.
And I'm Joe.
And we are two crazy ketos.
Thank you very much to Andy for refreshing us on which episode this is.
Thank you so much.
So welcome back to the channel.
Happy Monday.
Great weekend.
We did. It was magical.
You got some sun.
I did get some sun. So Caleb is turning 25 years old. I can't believe the baby is turning 25 on the 30th of March. And so he asked for his birthday, could we get as many people together as we possibly could and go to Universal Studios? And so my mom was able to go, Anthony and Sarah was able to go, and him and his girlfriend Kirsten were able to go, and then me and Joe. And it was bliss. It was just absolute bliss. Everybody, it's always awesome when you see the kids like grow up to be nice people. So it was like everybody made do with whatever restaurant. There wasn't like arguing over restaurants or what ride to ride on next and the pace, and it was just lovely.
It was a great weekend.
It was so awesome.
Welcome to Keto Beyond the Couch. If you are new here, Keto Beyond the Couch is all about our subscribers. We do this every Monday at 10 a.m. We do it live whenever possible. And so if you are joining us right now, we are live. And the way we like to do this is we like to celebrate our subscribers. This is about finding success stories and then also questions that people may have put up on our social media, like our Mighty Networks group, members.twocrazyketos.com, as well as answering comments that showed up on different videos. So the way we're going to do it is we're going to go over what we have pre-prepared. We're not going to pay too much attention to the chat till the last 10 or 15 minutes. If you have a question about something we're talking about, go ahead and use the super chat function. That's the little $ in the chat window. When you do that, it'll highlight our screen and we can answer your question right away. Otherwise, hold off to the last 10 or 15 minutes, but feel free to chat amongst yourself.
Yes.
Now, I do want to say that today's Keto Beyond the Couch is sponsored by Perfect Keto.
Last day of this sale for spring.
So Perfect Keto is having a Memorial Day sale. And
or I think it's a spring sale.
It's a spring, I guess it's not a Memorial Day, but it's a spring sale / sale for St. Patrick's Day. And what it is you get 2 items for 15% off, 3 items for 20% off, 4 items, 25% off, 5 items for 30% off, and then 10% off more when you subscribe. And this is a pretty decent sale from Perfect Keto. So let me get back to our main screen. I can't turn it off.
This is what we're looking at the entire time.
The wording on here is wrong, but if you use that QR code, you will get to the sale. So we really appreciate Perfect Keto for supporting us, and we appreciate you guys for supporting the companies that support our channel, our streams, and everything else. So if you need some stuff from Perfect Keto, go ahead and use the link that's on the screen or the one that is down below in the description box.
I saw Denise was asking, how's the canning coming on all of that roast beef?
We won't spend too much time on it, but we had a little issue. So
it's back on track now.
It's back on track now.
Yes.
But so we have our stove has a touchpad across the front.
So cute, so modern.
We bought that going, we don't have any little kids. We don't have to worry about anybody accidentally touching it. It does have a lockout thing.
Yeah.
When we bought it, we didn't have a cat.
And that cat that we were dreaming about was not as feral as the current one we have.
So what happened was Friday, or I guess early Friday, or Thursday night, I was canning a bunch of meat.
Yes.
Friday morning, I went and I took the lid off of the canner because we had a batch that had finished the night before cooling down. So I took the lid off. I took the jars out. I put the lid from my All-American canner onto the stovetop because we had to go drop off animals at the auction. So my plan was, as soon as I got back home, get the next batch in. Well, while we were gone, the cat walked across the stove.
Turned it on. And
that heated up the lid for my All-American canner, which now basically the oil around the rim smoked, set off the smoke detector. And more importantly, it heated it up and ruined the little rubber overpressure gasket. So we had to order a new one, which came late Friday night. So it kind of put everything on hold.
Well,
and now I have 3D printed a cover to go over the control panel. So she can't do that anymore. He can't do that anymore.
Well, and that'll preach right there. So yeah, we come back in from dropping off the chicks that we were selling for at like 5 o'clock in the morning.
Yes.
And the whole house is smoking and the alarm is going off. And we're like, what in the heck is going on? And then we figure it out.
It wasn't a fire. It was just excess smoke from oil.
Scary enough.
Yes.
So what I really liked about the situation is not like be mad, be frustrated, cry, and decide the rest of our lives we're going to be in fear. We also didn't decide, okay, I will never forget to put the locks on. Because you will.
Right.
You absolutely will. So what did Joe do? He was like, there has to be a 3D cover of some sort that I can create.
Isn't. I had to design it.
But you designed it. You're like, I need to build a fence or we're going to be right back here again.
Right.
And so you built that cover. And so now, ideally, most of the time we do remember, especially since this is still fresh, you put the locks on after you're done with the stove. But I love the fact that that fence is there whether we remember it or not. And I think that when you make a mistake or there's a vulnerability point, especially in your health and wellness journey, what you do is get extremely frustrated, but build no fence of protection moving forward.
Yes.
Acting like, well, this will just never happen again. This was just a fluke. Somehow the cat will learn, right? And that is just setting yourself up to failure. But because we made the fence
right
and put it on, I was able to leave for our weekend with the kids with my mind present on what was important, which was the kids, the family.
Yeah.
Right?
It was a good learning lesson for us, especially considering I like having the cover for it now. Because you can't put the control lock on when you're actually using the stove. So even if you're using the stove and he decides to walk across the front control panel,
he could turn something else on.
He can turn something else on or turn something off. So we've got I think we've gotten so far about 10 jars canned.
Yes.
We have a lot left. I put half of them in the freezer and then I'll take them out and get to them. But I think we still have about 25 packages of that corned beef left. It's a lot of beef for us and it's great. So we actually cooked up like 2 of them and chopped it up and we've been eating that for the weekend. So really happy with that. Let's get into today's Keto Beyond the Couch. And I wanted to start, I read that. I wanted to start off with this from Kelly.
Kelly P.
Said, I wish I would have seen this when I was a lot younger. Better late than never. It says, those who think they have no time for bodily exercise will sooner or later have to find time for the illness.
Ouch.
Edward Stanley.
That stings.
That is a great point.
It is so good. Yeah, it's really not an opt-out thing. We treat it like it's opt-out or opt-in. Like maybe mobility is important somewhat. And then if we do nothing with it, if we don't exercise our body, or we're like, okay, well, this part of my body hurts, so I can't exercise that, but that means I can't exercise at all.
Right.
Anything. Nothing can be done unless everything can be done, which is crazy, right? But like, it is not an opt-out. Like you will either do it or you will suffer the consequences of not doing it.
Yeah. Now I'm going to add to this.
Okay.
And this is something that, you can believe what you want as far as people talk about karma and the universe. We are Christians and we rely heavily on the Bible and what God says. And I look at some timing of some things that have happened over the last couple of weeks. So there's a pastor that we listen to online a lot because we travel a lot. It's Pastor Josh Howerton from Lake Point Church in Texas. And 2 weeks ago, he did a sermon on what he says is the most broken commandment. And it was interesting when he was talking about this, he would say, you know, most Christians would say you would never would break the commandment of thou shalt not kill.
Steal something.
Thou shalt not steal. Though pretty much all of us break the commandment of thou shalt not steal at work on a daily basis. Like if you pick up your phone and answer an email, you're stealing time, right? I call him a corporate time stealing weasel. Thou shalt not commit adultery, right? But there's one that most of us break on a regular basis and we don't think about it. And it's the fourth commandment, and it's thou shalt honor the Sabbath. And we're not talking about going to church.
No.
We're talking about taking a break, getting a rest.
Unplugging.
This is something that we have been guilty of, I'd say, especially over the last week. We used to be very good at it. And then somehow when we started building on the house, we're like, we don't have time to rest right now.
We don't have time.
Right? We work 7 days a week. Whether it be working, answering emails, putting up content, recording videos, working on the farm, renovating the house, all of that. And with the passing, especially of Dr. Nally last week.
It hit you hard.
It hit me very, very hard. It hit me very, very hard of we're not taking a rest. And again, I don't know all of the circumstances from Dr. Nally, but I know that he worked extremely hard.
He was under a lot of pressure. And I think that no matter what you're doing, you can get into this mindset that you're like, I'm always behind. You know, this whole thing rests on me. Like I am responsible for providing, you know, like income for everything is dependent on me. You don't understand. If I slow down in any way, shape, or form, then this whole thing is going to, you know, fall apart. Well, the truth is, if that is true, the thing is going to eventually fall apart.
Yeah. So I'm going to add into Kelly's little post there. You have to take time to rest. And from rest, I mean, like you're not working on that day.
Yeah.
Right. You're not answering emails. You're not, you know, obviously certain things like if you have to feed your kids or have to feed our pigs, that's a different thing.
We're not silly and
legalistic.
legalistic.
But we're talking about like we are going to begin taking a rest day every week where we are not going to answer emails, put up posts, edit videos, work on our house. We are going to take a full day of rest because if we don't take it now, we're going to have to face later with bad health issues. Mm-hmm. And because of that, next week's podcast and video, we're going to focus on the importance of rest. We talk about all the time. You have to manage your sleep, your stress management, and your movement. But part of that is rest. Rest will help you with those three different things.
Not just like asleep. And that's a lot of times that's what we say, well, my rest is sleeping. And whatever hours that I get with my eyes closed and snoring, that is my rest. You need waking rest as well.
Yeah. So I think the timing was just perfect because especially after Dr. Nally, it really hit us hard. Like, oh my gosh, that could be me.
I've
been looking at my mortality over the last week because of that.
Yeah.
And like, what can I do? And I think for me, the number one thing is going to be rest. And I think a lot of us don't rest.
Yeah.
We don't rest.
We
say we don't have time
Work
for rest.
harder. I don't have time.
Okay, let's move into the next one from Teresa.
Hey, Teresa.
Today is my 1-year ketoversary. I've stayed on plan every single day, unless you count too many cookies on Christmas. I'm proud of myself. Thank you to everyone here for the encouragement and inspiration over the last year. She has no more food noise with constant cravings for sweets, no more puffiness and inflammation, joint pain is minimal, no more heartburn or digestive issues, 12 pounds down in the first couple months and maintaining with ease.
Hello, Teresa. Congratulations. First of all, this is awesome. And what a testimony for somebody who's thinking about lowering their carbs, lowering their sugar, beginning to step into this. You know, they always say like, you know, results may vary. Well, I like those results that she's putting up. I want that.
Yeah.
Right. That is a testimony that would be like, dude, I'm joining you on this because I want that in my life.
Julie said, my Granny Apple Salty is arriving today.
Yay. It's delicious.
I'm sorry.
So
I
good.
know some people, I think Dustin disagrees
He
with
likes
me,
grape best, but I like the apple.
Where is my little salty thing?
Even Joe and I
know,
are on the same page.
Salty has come out with a brand new flavor. They're calling it Granny Apple. I'm going to tell you, you should have called it Apple Jolly Rancher, although I guess you can't technically use that name.
Yeah, I don't think that you
But
can call it
that's
that.
what it tastes like, and it is absolutely the best flavor. It beats grape. It beats blue slushy.
Yes.
And it beats red, white, and blam.
It does.
It absolutely beats it. So you can use the link here that's on the screen and get 10% off. Chris said, I think Granny Apple Salty is more better than any other flavor currently available.
I really do too. It is so good. And I keep saying this, but I think it's important. If you have a kiddo in your life that loves apple juice, this is the transition beverage.
Yes.
To help them let go of sugary nonsense and actually provide an electrolyte balance for their lives as well.
Now, I will say the link that I just put on the screen and it's down below, you'll see two different links. One is for salty, one is for keto try. You can order salty on either website. If you only need salty, use the salty one because it's you have a lower threshold for shipping. Whereas if you use the other one, you can also get keto chow. Both of them will get 10% off your whole order. That is not going to be a subscription. Next one we have is from Joanne.
Well, I just want to say thank you, Jennifer, for that $1.99 super chat. Let us know if you have a question.
Thank you very much. Joanne said, would you please stand up at the start of every show and let us read your shirt?
Oh, okay.
I guess I can stand up.
Yeah. Your shirt is from Alaska and it says, I am smiling because
Rachel says I never smile.
He has a resting Joe face, I like to say. And so, yeah, when we saw this shirt, when we were on the low carb cruise in Alaska, it was like perfect. So Jennifer says, have you tried making a sushi slushy in the creamy with salty? It's outstanding.
Yes, we have a whole video on that. So if you go to our original video on the Ninja Slushy, we have a whole video on how to do that. When you do that, you do need to add a little bit of allulose to do it right, because otherwise you end up with a frozen ice block. I generally add about 1 to 2 tablespoons of allulose to 2 or 3 packets of the salty. Next one is from Aaron.
Hi, Aaron.
To your comments about stress near the end of your live stream, I feel like the type of stress matters a lot too.
Yeah.
I've been stressed a lot about the health of my mother for the last 6 months, and I've struggled a lot. The stress has lessened in the last couple of weeks, but has now been replaced by the stress of getting my house repaired from storm and hail damage. Despite the new stress, I've been feeling much better recently and have more success eating properly.
It's so true.
So listen, you cannot, I'm going to repeat this, you cannot eliminate stress out of your life. It comes down to how do you manage stress. There are good stressors and bad stressors, but your body still sees them all as a stress.
Mm-hmm.
For example, bad stress, worrying about the health of your mother.
Oh my gosh,
worrying about the fixing of your house. And we have a lot of bad stresses in our life. Good stress.
Kid getting married.
Kid getting married,
Baby.
hanging out with our kids over the weekend, getting 7 family members together and going,
we're going to sleep in the same house.
We were stressed over, what are we going to eat? Is everyone going to be happy? Where does everybody sleep? I want everybody to enjoy it. The event is a good thing, but it can bring stress.
Right.
Having sex is a stress on your body.
Don't not do it though.
Don't not do it. That's very important.
We highly recommend it.
But it is still a stress. So it is, how do you manage? Do you let it really worry you? Do you let it cause issues in you? And you have to find ways to manage that. And again, one of those ways is by taking rest.
It's interesting because I think you have to kind of have a plan for what you're saying. Because if you have something in the house, it is awful. It is frustrating being on the phone in phone labyrinths, and the stress of getting a new roof on your house or getting it repaired is so stressful. You're dealing with insurance and all of that garbage, right? But you see it as, this is a pain in the butt task I have to do. But then, when you bring in the stress over, is my mom going to be okay? There is a whole other climate that goes with that sort of stress that you have to be hey, probably during this time when I'm caretaking or worrying about a person that I love so dearly, I need to have a different type of decompression daily to meet the unique challenges of that stress.
You know what the number one cause of stress in my life is?
Rachel? Yeah. Oh my gosh.
This.
Because not Parker the baby, but like the fact that you feel like that's your master and you're a slave to it.
So why is it a stress? Number one, you're reading emails, you're answering emails. I say all the time that the phone, like the modern day smartphone, like an iPhone, is the greatest and worst thing that has ever been invented.
Sure.
It's
answering back like, wait, what are you talking about?
You can get so much information on it, but it ruins families.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Same thing with social media. And then you look at, like, literally, you could read the Bible on it, but also look at porn.
Right. Yeah.
I mean, think about that. Yeah. But why do I say? Because, like, for example, when I see my son calling me, Rachel will tell you the first reaction is like, yay, my phone is, that's not my first reaction.
No.
My first reaction is, oh crap.
What is
he calling for?
Right.
Is it a car accident? Like, why is my child calling? That's a stressor. Mm. And that's why it's important to find several hours a day where you put that thing away in another room and forget where you put it for many hours of the day.
That reminder that it works for you, not the other way around.
Next one is from Yvonne.
Hi, Yvonne.
I have a few problems. I can fast, but once I start eating, it triggers me searching for food from the moment on until I go to bed. Mm. I finally got into a groove again of a very short eating window. Since I'm a volume eater, I can get my whole day's worth of protein and fat needs in under an hour.
Okay.
I am now eating around 3:30 or 4 p.m. and afterwards, I'm super stuffed that I'm not as tempted for after dinner snacks anymore. I'm loving it. My blood glucose and my ketones are reflecting it too. I'm going to say this is a good thing if you can really truly get all of your nutrition in. And when I say all of your nutrition in, I'm not saying what a calculator says you should be eating. I'm saying that you are getting in at least 100 grams of protein and then all of your other vitamins, nutrients, fat requirements. If that calculator is saying, well, you're supposed to be eating 1,100 calories to lose weight, and that equates to like 60 grams of protein, then that's not right. I would say knowing that you are a volume eater like Rachel, it is good to have a sense of, I'm only going to eat during these couple of hours. I would try to change that time up and more so say, I'm going to allow myself, when I eat, I can only eat for an hour.
Right.
And then that sometimes maybe in the morning, sometimes midday, sometimes in the afternoon. For many women, I am not a big proponent of OMAD, especially for women, because for the most part, it's very difficult to get all of your nutrition in. But we shouldn't be eating to a clock saying, well, I'm only allowed to eat every day at 3 o'clock. Because the second something comes up and you can't eat at 3 o'clock, like, for example, we were at a theme park, right?
Yeah.
And when you eat outside of that window, you kind of label yourself as a failure. So it is better to say, when I eat, I can only eat for this long. Does that make sense?
It does. That you're like, hey, I'm going to have 2 food interactions daily. And, and converse with yourself. It's happening, right? We're talking to ourselves, but usually we're not controlling the script of that conversation. So saying like, hey, you wake up and you're like, I'm going to have 2 food interactions today. I'm going to have 2 times that I'm eating. And then, call it out. This is number 1 right now. I am honoring myself and my authentic needs with a meal right now. We're going to sit down and we're going to enjoy this meal. This is meal number 1. And then when you're having meal number 2, whenever that is, call it out. This is meal number 2.
Right.
You know what I mean? Because I think it's important that you have that constant conversation. Like, because if you're used to eating at 4 o'clock or eating at 5 o'clock, you're trying to push it back as far as possible because you're trying to get closer to bedtime so that you don't snack at night. But then if something happens like us and we're eating in the park at 3 o'clock, I need to understand, hey, this is the time I'm eating.
Yeah.
Like, this was the meal.
And if you're interested in the whole protein aspect, again, I'm going to tell you everybody should be eating at least 100 grams of protein. This week's video and podcast is going to be about how do you get 100 grams of protein in? Because it's easier than you think. Nothing frustrates me more than when we get comments from people that I can't eat 100 grams of protein. And when you see what 100 grams of protein actually looks like, you're going to be like, I'm sorry, this is going to sound offensive. Some people are going to say to themselves, well, I'm an idiot.
I think they're just going to think I'm making it harder than it needs to be.
Yes. Right?
And that's a human nature thing. It's nothing to feel guilty about. Like, that's what we do.
The podcast is going to talk about why this is so important.
And if that isn't the conclusion, if we show you how little across the day 100 grams of protein actually is, and you're like, that's ridiculous, I would start adjusting some things.
Yes.
Because you have gotten into the weeds. It is really not that much food.
Okay, next one we have is from Amy.
Hi, Amy.
Does anybody still use Element, or has everybody switched to Salty? I think I'm dealing with insulin resistance and I want to avoid anything that spikes my blood sugar or could contribute to insulin resistance. I know recently Element was under the microscope for maltodextrin. I still have Element left over from a subscription, but once it's gone, I will switch to Salty. Does anybody have trouble with Element? I am actually drinking an Element right now. Okay, so not to dig into the weeds, there was a big controversy over Element. I think the controversy got overblown. Okay, I think the whole issue was overblown.
Let's get angry.
What it is that the maltodextrin is in the natural flavors. Why wasn't it on the label? Because it doesn't have to be. And many times the natural flavors companies don't even tell the companies that it's in there unless the company specifically asks if it's in there. So natural flavors themselves, the ingredients in there are proprietary. So they'll sometimes say this is in there or not in there, but they won't give whoever is using that product a list of all the ingredients. For example, Keto Chow would go, well, hey, with Snickerdoodle, is there actually cinnamon in there? We need to know for allergy reasons. And they'll say yes. Can you give me a list of every single ingredient in there? No, we're not going to do that. That's proprietary.
You ask me the things you don't want in there, and I'll tell you if it's not in there.
One of the things that we love about Keto Chow and Salty is Chris Bear, and with that Miriam, but Chris specifically is anal.
In a good way.
In a good way. But he will stomp his feet with the companies that they work with and say, this is not going to be in there. Figure it out or I'll go somewhere else. Another person who is really good about that is Susie from Switch/Scrummy Sweets.
Right.
And again, because they both make things for themselves and then decided to make it in a product.
And they don't want
that in their food. So what happened with Element was, it was always known that there was maltodextrin, but the numbers didn't add up. And then it found out that there were more maltodextrin than they originally were claiming or thought. It's also in Redmond Relight. It's in the natural flavors. It is a small amount over the portion of 1,000 packets. For the most part, that is not going to affect your blood glucose. I've never seen an increase in my blood glucose, but it could have an impact on your insulin. Do we still use Element? Yeah, we will use it. Element has some flavors that currently Salty doesn't have. Lemonade.
Yeah.
If they had that, I might, but I use both. Why do we use Salty more? Yes, because Salty doesn't have maltodextrin. They're using gum acacia instead. But the number one reason, can I have that back? The number one reason why I personally use Salty over Element is because of this on the bottom. Because Salty has 416 milligrams of potassium and 180 milligrams of magnesium to the same amount of sodium as the other two companies. So they have more potassium and more magnesium. And those are the two things that are hardest to get on a keto and especially carnivore lifestyle.
Right.
So that is why I really like Salty more, even though we'll use the other ones. When I'm really in the need for a magnesium hit, I'm going to reach for Salty because it's got like triple the magnesium of the other ones.
Everybody, though, isn't as sensitive to different things.
Yeah. For example,
I think about athletes. I think about people like children, and we're trying to get them off of sugary beverages. They're going to have very specific likes and dislikes. So my thing is, well, you need to be correct person in my life that would benefit of drinking electrolytes over soda, full sugar soda, right? Or juice or Gatorade or something like that. I don't care about you being perfect and right. I want you to find the flavor that you're going to drink on repeat.
Yep.
So for somebody, it's going to be a flavor that's in the wheelhouse of salty. Somebody is going to like Redmond best. Somebody is going to like LMNT best. Somebody is going to like Salter best. I want you to find the one that works for you that you can drink on repeat, not the one that is correct as deemed correct by the community.
Which is one of the reasons that
Foolishness.
we will not sign an exclusive agreement with any
No.
company, because not every product is for everybody. But if you go back to the ratios, one of these cans is literally half of one of their sticks. So this has 500 milligrams of sodium and 100 milligrams of potassium and only 30 milligrams of magnesium. So if you take salty and cut it in half, salty, if this was in a can like this, that's a good idea, Chris Bear, would have 200 milligrams in a can to the 500 milligrams. And it would have, what is that? Like 80 something milligrams of magnesium. So that's why we like it. Also, by the way, the cans, the sparkling cans do not have maltodextrin in them.
Right.
That's just, if you
the
see
canning
these in the
process.
store, these don't have maltodextrin in them. Yeah, Bob said pina colada. That's another flavor that, and it was a test flavor.
Yeah.
Hopefully it'll become a regular flavor, but it's not a flavor that Salty currently has. MLG says, I need a granny apple with caffeine. Chris Bear, yes, that would be a great.
That'd be awesome.
Okay, next one is from Sandra.
Hey, Sandra.
I am not wanting to stir up any stuff. I am a serious animal lover. And I, of course, being in this group, am a meat eater. How do you handle it when it is time for an animal that you have raised and cared for to become your dinner? I have personally hunted and fished, and I have no issue with putting those animals on the table. Does it become a mindset? And that's the way a person handles the emotional side of it.
Great question.
This is a great question. I actually almost made it the topic for today.
Yeah.
And instead, I think we're going to make this a full podcast.
I love it.
So is it wrong can you be an animal lover and still eat meat?
Well, I think
yes,
but like how do you separate that personally? You say and then I'll say, like what is it for you? What does it mean for you? It's processing day for chickens, or it's processing day for a pig. Like what
so
what do you do?
Here's what I'm going to say. Is it easy to process an animal? No, especially one I've raised. I mean, I was a hunter. I will be honest, it was much easier to go hunting and kill an animal than it is to process one that we have raised from a day old.
Right.
It's never easy. But when I process an animal, I am thankful to God. I'm thankful to that animal. And, almost like the Native Americans where they would, say a little prayer. I'm the same way. I mean, God gave us dominion over the animals. And so I look at this as God gave this to us as our food. But because of that, we treat our animals on the farm literally like they're our children. Like you saw in that vlog the other day, my happy place is to go out and sit with a pig. And like they are like dogs to me. I will go and rub on them and pet them. And there is going to be a day where I'm going to have to process all of the males. The girls right now are supposed to be breeders, but there may be a breeder that we have that becomes food because she's not a good breeder for us. But it's the hardest thing I've done so far was having to process Winston, who wasn't ready to be processed.
Yes.
But I had to look at like this was best for him. He was suffering. But I also was not going to waste what we had. We literally came home from a conference at Dr. Kiltz's meetup, and literally 20 minutes before we left to come back home, gave a talk about we don't waste. Yes. So is it easy? No, but we are grateful. And our thing is our animals will have one bad day.
That is the plan. Yeah. So it is hard because when you're raising animals, it's not just that you have loss because you are going to eat them for meat. Sometimes we just have a turkey that passes away. And that is really hard. It's honestly, I find that to be harder because you weren't able to control all of the variables and keep it the most beautiful, peaceful thing. That's it. It probably upsets me more when one of them just passes away. You know, if we have a chick that has a failure to thrive after they're hatched out of the egg, that grieves me more because I'm like, I am so sorry that we weren't able to like help you when we did not believe that this was your time, you know? And so I think that's really hard. One of the things that we have put a lot of energy in is to getting the processing day down to a science where it is as quick and painless for that animal as possible, that there is a peace in their passing.
Yes.
That is the most important thing to us.
Yes.
Really.
And if you research, for example, poultry and how they process chickens in commercial places,
it's like we can do better.
That gives us more reason of why we process our own. When you look at electrocution and suffocating and everything else.
Have we tried the cubed
Parmesan?
Thank you
very much, Better Health, Better Man for the $2
dipped in peanut butter. No,
chat.
I am leaving a note for myself. Cubed Parmesan dipped in peanut butter.
That sounds like
we're doing
a disaster for me.
Let's do it.
Let's take a quick fade to black.
Thank you guys for giving us such a cool to-do list.
Yes, Breeze, thank you very much. That the lemonade element does not have maltodextrin. Yes.
Right.
Okay, next one is today's topic from Arthur
Fonzarelli.
Yes, and his picture was
Hey.
Fonzie. Food are drugs, and the only reason that you are eating at 3:00 in the afternoon is for the dopamine hit.
Okay, there's a little. I think there's some truth to that.
There is definitely a little bit of truth to the dopamine piece. Okay, so evolution has designed our brains to reward us for finding energy. That is just how we ancestrally eat. But the labeling of, I'm going to say, all food as a drug hit is really, and it's a massive oversimplification.
Unless, I mean, it is, unless you're on a standard American diet.
Yes.
If you're on overly processed, hyperpalatable carbs like seed oils, then yes, you are essentially short-circuiting your brain's reward system. So that 3 p.m. craving isn't probably hunger. It's a blood sugar crash combined with withdrawal symptoms. Yes.
Yeah. So this is why I disagree with this statement.
If you're keto.
We're a keto carnivore channel. So this is why I disagree with this statement. So yeah, if you're eating the standard American diet and overly processed foods, then yes, I could agree with this. But if you're on keto and carnivore, we're eating meat and whole foods, so it's different. So you have to look at the nutrient density versus your empty calories. If you eat a steak, your body is going to receive like things like your zinc and your amino acids, vitamin B12. Your gut will send a signal to your brain saying, I'm nourished. And so this is going to trigger your satiety and not a temporary high.
Right.
Then you have your hormonal regulation. So with a whole food, it's going to regulate your leptin and then your ghrelin. And because of that, that will help satiate you. If you're eating even like keto treats, like things that are highly processed, or if you're eating high carb foods, those signals are going to get ignored.
Yeah.
And that's going to lead into that dopamine loop. Now, for the 3 p.m. thing, if you are fat adapted and you're eating whole foods, the 3 p.m. slump is going to usually disappear because your blood sugar is stable. So if you're hungry, then it's more than likely because you actually need fuel and not because you're chasing a hit.
Right.
So how do you know if you're hungry? That is the real thing, because we did this in the vlog last week where we were talking about, what do you do when you snack? So what I would tell you is if at 3 o'clock you get snacky, you need to find a distraction. It could be a dopamine hit. It could be your body is looking for fuel, or it could be that you just need to be distracted from what you're doing. So there's two different things you can do. Number one, use a bridge. Like I love that term that
Dr.
Sivas does, like use a bridge. So have something like a cup of coffee or some tea, or take a quick walk. If that snacky feeling goes away,
you just needed some diversion.
You just needed that diversion. You needed to change up what you're doing. If it doesn't go away, then you're likely actually hungry, and it means you didn't eat enough ribeye at lunch.
And it is okay to be hungry. The objective is not to never feel hungry. We have to have fuel. We're supposed to have fuel. I don't care if everybody else is esteeming that, like, the highest esteem is I am never hungry. Even it repulses me to even think of eating. That is not the objective. And I don't care if everybody else is like way into, I never want to feel hungry again. That is not the goal.
No.
It is okay. It is not a character flaw to be hungry. You answer that need with proper fuel.
I mean, the bottom line is to reduce human metabolism to a drug addiction is ignoring the fact that we are biological organisms that require fuel.
Yeah.
Okay. The goal of keto and carnivore isn't to stop enjoying food. It's to stop being controlled by it.
There you go. That is the big difference. Yes. And I think that also, like, in order to know the difference between the two, like, take an inventory every once in a while and say, like, how do you celebrate? How do you deal with mourning or loss? Like, what is your comfort? What is your celebration and joy? So if everything has to be addressed with a food, like every time I'm sad, food, every time I'm happy, food, then okay, then we maybe need to add some more coping mechanisms to our life.
Yeah.
But just because during the day you're like, oh my gosh, my body has a need, there's something wrong with me, I'm obviously just a food addict. It's like, that is a wrong belief.
Yeah. Like Kelly said, movement is a great bridge to get past hunger.
Yes.
Absolutely. Like for me, that's where I go to my happy place. When I get that 3 p.m., I'm working outside, I'm working on the computer, and I need a distraction, I go and I sit with the pigs and I pet them and I talk to them. And Rachel says it's like when she sees me doing that, it's like the happiest that she ever sees me.
Yeah.
So it's just something to look at. Okay, next one it's this one. West Coast Lass.
Hi.
How do you feel about carbonate bread? It's garbage. It's okay.
Sounds like something an astronaut made, right?
Okay. Let's look at it. I pulled this up. This is carbonate bread. Let's look at the ingredients. Water, wheat protein, resistant tapioca and resistant potato starch, flax meal, high oleic sunflower oil, wheat or bamboo fiber, yeast, psyllium, inulin, cultured wheat starch, pea fiber, salt, citric acid, and sesame flour.
I have a question.
Okay.
Why is it wheat and or bamboo?
Well,
are some
that's what I want to go
different?
Through. Okay, so I'm going to break these down.
What loaf am I getting?
Wheat protein, garbage. Resistant tapioca or potato starch, pick one. But the bottom line is, with both of those, they call it resistant, but a lot of people have blood glucose reactions to it.
So what am I less resistant?
It's not
more
good,
resistant.
Okay. Then we have flax meal, great ingredient. High oleic sunflower oil, better than regular sunflower oil, better than seed oils, but still not optimal. Why is it better than regular sunflower oil? Because it's going to be higher in omega-3s, but it's still not optimal. Wheat and or bamboo fiber, pick one.
I know.
Okay. Wheat fiber, garbage. Bamboo fiber,
me,
much better. Your body doesn't digest it.
If you start putting labels like this, doesn't it feel like a little bit of a bait and switch? Of like, hey, we could be using something that people find more favorable. We could be using something that is less favorable, and we're just not going to tell you. But if it's on the label, like maybe you're getting something better and maybe you're not.
Yep.
We don't know.
Next, I want to go back to this. Okay, next. Yeast, not a bad product. Psyllium, not a bad product. Inulin, not a bad product. Cultured wheat starch, garbage ingredient.
It feels like wheat,
Right?
wheat, fake.
Okay, then we have pea fiber, salt, citric acid, sesame flour. Those are all good. Here's the thing, wheat protein, that's vital wheat gluten. That's gluten. If you are looking for an anti-inflammatory diet, this is a horrible product. Now, if you look at the other side, the nutrition, one slice of bread is 70 calories, 3.5 grams of fat, 9 grams of protein, 8 grams of dietary fiber, and 9 grams of, carbohydrates, 8 grams of fiber, and 7 grams of protein. So what they're going to tell you is it's 1 net carb. It's 8 dietary fiber. But a lot of that fiber is coming from some of these things, like, yes, flax meal, I would be okay with deducting the fiber from that and the psyllium, but not a lot of these other ones. And so I would tell you, this goes back into the previous comment of the dopamine hit. Eating this product is going to cause you to want more bread.
Yeah.
And it is an overly processed keto food that I would say is not a keto food. And it doesn't belong on a ketogenic lifestyle, even though there's a stupid little label on the bag that says keto certified.
What I'm going to say is,
I don't think they're going to sponsor us.
I don't think so either. But what I'm going to say is, can you have this? You're an adult. You can have whatever you want, right? I'm not coming to your house. I'm not paying your grocery bill, right? You can have whatever you want. Do I believe that this will long-term cause you more frustration and stall success and make it longer for you to cut the cord of wheat? Yes. Yep. Yes. I think that as your friend, it's going to frustrate you more than it helps you.
I think, as we said on Thursday, there are better options to buying this that will actually save you money.
Make a chaffle.
Make a PSMF bread. Yeah. Make a carnivore bread using chicken. You know, we've done that before. There's lots of recipes out there. We have our chicken crust. You can make a fathead dough. But I do not think that this is the answer. And I think long-term, it's going to cause issues for you. But if you are insistent on using any of these keto breads or keto wraps, I would encourage you to take the amount that you would normally eat and do a true glucose test.
Yes.
And by that, I mean, get a good fasting glucose, do that reading, eat what you would normally eat, and then test yourself at 30 minutes, 1 hour, and 2 hours. You're going to spike somewhere between a half hour to an hour, and you should be back to where you started by 2 hours. If your spike goes over 10, I would personally not consume it. So if your glucose is 80 and you go to 90, don't look at what the high number is. How much did it go up? But no matter what, I'm going to tell you, it is going to cause major insulin reactions, even if it doesn't spike glucose. So I would personally avoid it. That's my thought. Okay, next one is from Wild Zen.
Hi, Wild Zen.
Thank you for keeping it real. For those of us that maybe can't afford grass-fed, grass-finished, congrats on the corned beef conquest. Loved a good sale.
Thank you.
So by the way, that corned beef was not grass-fed, grass-finished beef.
No, it was not.
It was $2 a pound, and I am going to eat it. And I hate beating this dead horse, but I think that there are too many people in the keto and carnivore space that say, if you're not eating grass-fed, grass-finished beef, you're not doing it right. And I'm sorry, they're wrong. They're wrong. If you are eating the worst feedlot beef, which is probably what that corned beef comes from, that is still better than the standard American diet. It is a common misconception that grain-fed cattle never eat grass. It's just not true. All cattle spend a majority of their lives, at least 80% of their life, on pasture eating grass. The only difference is in the last 3 months to even for some places 2 weeks. That's the difference. And that is the baseline nutrition. That's what the baseline nutrition is being built on for during the grazing finish. The grain finished beef is just retaining all of that nutritional value that they got when they were on pasture.
Yeah.
The grain at the end just fattens them up so the farmer can get some more money. And if we are honest, so the beef tastes better.
We get that marbling.
Grain finished beef is typically, rather grass-fed beef is typically much leaner, which some people are going to see as a benefit. I'm going to say it's not a benefit. That's really going to be subjective. Like, I would rather have a fattier beef. It's going to taste better, and it is better for us if you are eating a keto carnivore lifestyle.
Because remember, we are fat fueled.
Why does nobody on carnivore want to eat a sirloin? Because there's no fat in it.
Right. You're not getting all of your fuel from protein.
So it also, you have to look at with grass finished beef, it does have higher levels of linoleic acid and it does have healthier trans fats. But the difference in the linoleic acid levels between both grass-fed and grass finished and grain finished, and that's what we should say. We want to make sure we highlight finished, is not enough to drastically alter your overall health.
Right.
It's just not. The most cited benefit of grass-finished beef is its higher level of omega-3 fatty acids.
Right.
And it's true that it does have like 2 to 5 times more, but the numbers are still extremely low. So if you can afford and like grass-finished beef, eat it. If you can't, and somebody is telling you that you're not doing it right, tell them to off.
Kiss my grits.
Kiss
Rachel's grits.
Okay, so again, we need to not pick pepper out of poop. Okay. Oh yes, that's the one I wanted.
Hi, Sharon.
I was wondering if you guys still use Redmond salt or if you've switched exclusively to salty provisions. We still use Redmond salt every day.
Yeah.
So I answered the comment, but I know I'm sure a lot of people because we got introduced to salty provisions. We like it.
We like it.
What do we do with the two of them? Redmond's is our everyday salt. When I'm cooking, when I'm canning, when I'm pickling, if I'm just generally salting food, if I want more salt on my pork rinds, whatever it may be, I'm using Redmond. We use salty provisions solely as a finishing salt.
It's too expensive to use it as the everyday salt. I'm sorry, I'm just going to be honest.
So if you've got a steak,
and
you want a little bit of I want a nice crust of salt across the top, that's where we're going to use salty provisions. Maybe we'll use it on top of our eggs. If I am seasoning a beef and preparing a rub, I'm using Redmond. I'm not going to use the salty provision. So I think they're both good. They're both sea salt. Okay. Redmond is just from an ancient seabed. People will talk about, lead versus ocean. I think salty provisions is getting their sea salt from a better place than say the Pacific Ocean off the coast of California or in Britain. I would not personally use a sea salt coming from, I don't even know what the oceans are that surround Great Britain, but I can't imagine they're super clean. I wouldn't get sea salt out of the Hudson River.
Right.
We recently watched National Treasure, and when he jumps over the edge into the off of the Intrepid, and you're like, no. Rachel's like, is it really that bad? And I'm like, yes. You would not go swimming in the Hudson River, let alone get your sea salt from it. So we like them both. It's just we use them for different things.
Yes.
Next one is from Krista.
Hey, Krista.
I have a question. Do you have a recipe for your mason jar dehydrated yogurt? I'd love to try making it this way. It's in the recipe video. Do we have a card for it? No, I could make a card for it, but it's the easiest thing you're ever going to do. If you watch the video, I don't think you need a recipe video for it. Yeah, a recipe card for it. Take a container of Fairlife, put it into jars, and then put some yogurt in there, give it a stir or shake it up and stick it in your dehydrator. That's all you have to do. And I actually saw a comment from Terry.
Hey, Terry.
My half a cup and half pint yogurt in my air fryer dehydrator setting turned out perfect.
Yay.
I thought the Instapot and straining method was easy, but this
way
is
better.
I
think so too.
Yes, if you didn't see, we put out a short on using the dehydrator function of the Tasty. Now, I'm going to tell you, if you have a regular dehydrator, do it in the dehydrator.
Sure.
Because you can fit the entire batch in it once.
But not everybody has one.
But the point of that video was I didn't even realize the Tasty had a dehydrator functions. I mean, they sponsor our channel. They sponsor our RV channel. And I've played with it. And I think the Tasty air fryer is the best air fryer we have ever used. And it's the only one that has lasted more than a year, by the way.
Yes.
And we've tried a lot of them.
Looking at you, QVC.
Before we were using the Kasoris and they all got recalled. That's one of the reasons that we switched to the Tasty.
Yeah.
I didn't know it had a dehydrator function. And somebody a couple weeks ago put in the stream, can you do it? And I'm like, I don't know. Let's try. And it turns out perfectly. The problem with the Tasty is you can only use small jars. You can only use the half pints. And so you can only fit 4, which means you can't do the whole batch at once. So if you have a dehydrator, then you're going to
do the whole batch at once.
Dehydrator, you can do it all at once. The difference comes down to how much yogurt do you put in each jar? If you use the half pints, you only need a teaspoon. If you're doing a quart, I would say 1 to 2 tablespoons. If you're doing a pint, like 2 teaspoons. It's not an exact science. You want to make sure you have enough culture, but not too much culture. But it's
Isn't that always the way? You need just enough culture, not too much culture, just enough culture.
Next one's from Nancy. I want to try making the yogurt in the Tasty air fryer. What sizes of little jars I need to use them in? So if you have a Tasty, again, half pint jars will work. But I also wanted to say, because obviously that was a short, I don't have time to say everything. You only have 60 seconds. Anything that you could put into something that's 110 degrees, make sure it's glass. But if you have a shallow Corningware that can fit in there, you can do it in there. It doesn't have to be a mason jar. Why we like the mason jars, and this is honestly, we are no longer making yogurt in the Instapot.
No,
as easy as it was, it is so much easier to make it in the dehydrator.
Because it's just in its holding space.
It's in its
cooking it in
its jar. I don't have to worry about the seal.
It's like when we make your yogurt, we always make the yogurt in a mason jar because, or not mayonnaise. When we make your mayonnaise, we make it in the mason jar because it's the container.
It's in the container.
Less mess.
But any container that will fit in the Tasty, you could put it in there. And again, I would do glass. Next one is from Julie.
Hi, Julie.
I am looking for a clean, grass-fed, clear protein powder. Most of them have either natural or artificial flavors or maltodextrin. Your thoughts if I had to choose? I have yet to see a clear, that grass-fed protein powder that I thought was good. If anybody knows of one, let us know and I'll do a review video.
Do you mean clean?
No,
and maybe it's a typo?
Oh, she said clean, but she said clear. She wants a clean one, but a clear protein powder.
Okay.
So in other words, it's clear. It's not like...
Not just clean. It needs to be clear.
Right.
Okay.
I have yet to see one. If anybody knows of one, let us know. I want to answer, what would I say...
The cleanest
is
one?
When most of them have natural or artificial flavors or maltodextrin. I would always choose natural flavors over artificial flavors. And I would always choose something that doesn't have maltodextrin. Here's the problem. As we said earlier with natural flavors, you don't know what's in them.
Right.
So now it comes down to, you have to ask the company or be dealing with the company that you know and trust. One of the things, if it didn't have to be clear, I would tell you to use Keto Chow Core or use Equip. And the reason being is because they don't have maltodextrin in their natural flavors.
Right.
And again, Keto Chow goes above and beyond to make sure. How much so does Keto Chow? I don't know if Chris is still here. I don't think he is because he usually has meetings at this time of the day. But when I say Chris Bear is anal, and I am saying that in the nicest possible way, years ago, if you had some old bags of Keto Chow, if you look at them, one of the ingredients is going to say canola oil or sunflower oil. It was a seed oil.
Yeah.
Here was the thing. There were no seed oils in the product.
None.
Okay. What happened is the machines that they would use to create the natural flavors
had to be lubricated.
In the spray drying process, the machines have to be lubricated. Well, they have to use an edible oil. So most of them use the sunflower oil or canola oil or some kind of seed oil. Why? Because it's cheap. Those oils were originally designed to be machine oil.
Yeah.
Which is why, even though there's like a lot of people who say there's not a lot of research, why would you eat something in excess that was never designed to be for the body? It was designed to be for a machine. Okay. So they use that oil for the machine. He put on the label that those oils were in there
because they may
off chance
come in contact with it.
In the off chance that one drop of that seed oil leaked out of the machine into the ingredients. That's when I say he's anal, that's how anal he is.
Honest.
And then he went back to the company and I said to him, you don't even have to put that. First of all, it's natural flavor. Second of all, the chance of it being there is pretty much nothing. It's like literally there's almost no chance. But he still wanted to be anal and upfront and honest about it. And then he went to the company and said, well, can't we use MCT oil?
Yeah.
And he made them change. Right? So I would tell you, if I had to pick the three, natural flavors first, and try to find one that doesn't have maltodextrin in the natural flavor. So message the company that you're looking at and ask them, is there maltodextrin in the natural flavors? If they say, I don't know, tell them, well, find out.
Right.
And then I'll buy your product.
Yeah.
And if there isn't any, I know somebody who will do a review, and if it tastes good, probably give you a glowing review, if it tastes good.
If it doesn't taste like sweaty garbage.
Right. Two more real quick. Luann.
Hi, Luann.
My hubby is worried that you guys aren't going to dress for the 70s party on the 2KK cruise. He does not want to be the only one.
I got you, baby.
So first of all, if you didn't know, yes, you have 1 week left. 2026 2KK Getaway Cruise, October 4th through the 11th. Rachel's 50th birthday, which is a couple weeks before, but we're still celebrating her birthday. And we are celebrating her birthday with a cocktail hour party where we're going to celebrate you guys. We're going to have some prizes. It is going to be a 70s theme. And yes, even I, who do not dress up for anything, am dressing up for you guys and for my wife.
Yes.
So we will be dressed up.
But
you only have a week left. And we only have about 8 or 9 cabins left. So if you're interested,
don't
get your
miss
cabin.
out.
Last one. From Rachel.
Hi, Rachel.
My husband will turn the microwave off at 1 second left, so it makes less noise. He dislikes the beeping, but he also gets up very early and doesn't want to bother me.
Aww.
Of course, I have to hit more buttons and beeps if I use it. We both use it to reheat our coffee.
The beep. You do this a lot.
I leave 1 second on, and
why can't you just go beep beep?
I'm going with Rachel saying I don't want to, not you, Rachel, this Rachel. I'm going with I just don't want to disturb you.
Oh, is that what it is?
Nothing. It's the same reason. Now, listen.
The blinking disturbs me more, just so you know.
TMI. When we are on a cruise, and even sometimes here, because our bathroom door is normally open, if I go pee at night, I don't flush, especially on a cruise.
Ew.
Why?
Because it's loud.
Because it's whoosh.
Yeah, it is.
And that will wake Rachel up. I'm thinking of her. Am I the only one who does this?
I hope that you're the only one, so that no one else has to wake up and be like, ew, there's pee in this toilet. Ew.
I can't be the only one that is so considerate to their spouse that I don't want the flushing of the toilet to wake her up.
I think that you should trust that I will sleep through it.
That is the microwave is a laziness issue.
Okay, well,
I just don't. I
start working harder.
It's an impatience and laziness. Like, hey, listen, it was already done with 5 seconds to go, so I'm just going to take it out. And then
Just
the laziness pops in of I don't want to hit.
Well, you're hitting.
Reset.
Just hit.
No, I just open the door, which is why it still says 5 seconds. I don't hit stop.
Still in training.
Let's get into the comments. Question
was Kasori was recalled? No.
No, some of the Kasori
air fryers were just not lasting.
No, they were recalled.
They were recalled?
Yes.
The
certain ones.
Ugh.
Let me
Ours just wasn't working. We don't flush overnight.
Well, I got rid of one.
Solid.
I got rid of one.
Yes, that is. Never treat me to sleep by leaving a solid in there.
No,
I will say that I've never experienced that. Like Joe has never done that, thankfully. But I just want to get out ahead of it. Like maybe you've never in 20 years needed to do that at night. But like if you do, go ahead and flush.
You know the good news is?
I'm fine with it.
I don't get up in the middle of the night to go pee anymore since I started doing my electrolytes.
Yes. If it's yellow, it's metal. If it's brown, flush it down. Yes.
I'm trying. Sometimes it pops up. Yes. So go to your safety and recall. I did. We had one that broke, but then the other one, it was the Kasori air fryer 5.8 electric hot fryer oilless cooker that was recalled. And so that's one of the reasons that when this got recalled is when we switched to Tasty. And I liked that air fryer. In fact, we even gave it to Julie from Redmond as a gift one year.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so,
That's
but
true.
it was a good air fryer. But I think Tasty is the best one I've ever had. Sabrina said, bye. Got a lot of errands to run today and getting things ready to head south on Wednesday. I love Sean's comment.
And then Julie, if it's clean, let it be. If it's brown, flush it down. Carrie says, I only flush when brown. I think we need to up our game a little bit, Carrie.
You are on the losing end of this one.
I think we need to just flush the toilet. Flush the toilet. Flush the toilet.
Nancy, I love my new Tasty air fryer. I was able to use Joe and Rachel's discount.
Let us talk about the Tasty.
Kelly's Tasty is arriving today.
Oh, good.
Okay. Who is this?
Tara says, what do you do if you're sick of eating meat but feel so good on ketovore? I go to eat a steak but can't finish it because I just don't enjoy meat. Please help. I think that, Tara, part of it is that when we go to change our diet, we are not realizing that we were outsourcing comfort, encouragement, celebration, how to deal with depression, how to deal with joy. All of it was wrapped up in food.
Yes.
It wasn't medicine. Like if I came to you and said like, hey, you're sick, and you need to take this antibiotic, and you wouldn't be like, well, I'm not enjoying the mouthfeel of this pill, or I'm not enjoying the flavor of this antibiotic that's in liquid form. You wouldn't say that. You'd just be like, well, it's my medicine, and this is what I need to take.
Yes.
Right? You don't have a lot of feelings about it.
Right.
But when it comes to eating a proper human diet, like I'm a human, I need to eat what's proper for me. But I am just not having the fun with it that I used to have when I was consuming fair food. Like this steak is never turning into something that feels celebratory. It's just a flat steak, and it's like eat meat, repeat.
Right.
So I think that you can look for other proteins. Like if I feel like steak is overplayed right now for me, okay, go get yourself some chicken. Okay, eat some shrimp. All right, go ahead and have some salmon. Eat pork. My mom recently, because they were having a sale on pork loin, rediscovered pork loin that she hadn't bought in a while because they were like buy one get one free at Publix. And so she was like, wow, this is neat. This is different than what I've been eating, and I'm enjoying the diversity. But if you're like, hey, I am in this way of eating, and boy, it just feels like mealtime is just an energy fuel up. It really is starting to feel like this trip to the gas station is just pumping gas, but it's not the journey.
Right.
But that's by design.
Yep. Here's what I'm gonna say. Don't let the hardcore carnivores,
It's like, I only
or
like
the keto police
beef.
tell you it can only be beef.
Right.
Let's focus on our protein coming from animal foods. So if you're tired of steak, I get tired of steak for a while. I get tired of beef for a while.
Yeah.
That's where you're going to eat eggs, like Rachel said. Eat chicken, eat pork. You know, is a ruminant meat like lamb or beef or goat,
deer,
or venison or elk, is that going to be better overall? Absolutely, it is, because
nutrient
it's
dense.
a ruminant meat. Is there anything wrong with eating poultry? No. And anybody who tells you otherwise can take a flying leap.
Right.
Okay. Try to get the ruminant meat in, but if there are some people, if you have alpha-gal syndrome, very small, tiny portion who've been bit by a certain kind of tick, you can't eat it. Well, what are you going to tell that person? Go eat the standard American diet because you can't eat beef?
Silly.
Again, tell them to take a flying leap. And if somebody doesn't like that, go ahead and hit unsubscribe. I don't care. Our goal is to get you to eat a mostly meat diet consisting of whole foods, and getting away from the overly processed foods and all of the sugar, pasta, wheat, and starches.
Right.
I don't care what kind of meat you eat. I will be honest. We love beef. We eat a lot of ground beef. We literally just bought
we're going to be eating a lot of
something
beef.
pounds of corned beef, which is not even Rachel's favorite. Okay.
No.
My favorite is corned beef. Rachel's would be brisket and ribeye. But at $2 a pound, guess what we're going to be eating?
Not brisket and ribeye.
Feedlot beef that we paid $2 a pound.
Yeah.
But we raise poultry. Why? It's cheap. We have today and tomorrow 247 quail hatching out.
We're going to be eating quail.
We're going to be eating quail. Why? Because we have 247 eggs hatching out thanks to Stacy and Ken.
Yeah.
Okay. And then we're going to eat their eggs. So I would say switch it up. Switching it up tends to help you not get bored. I love ground beef. I love corned beef, right? We just bought all that corned beef. If I ate only corned beef every single day, I would get sick of it too.
Yeah.
Okay, so how am I going to do it? We're going to eat corned beef. I'm going to put corned beef in my eggs. Then one day we'll eat some chicken. Then one day we'll eat some ground beef. Then maybe one day we're just going to eat eggs.
Yeah.
Right? We just switch it up. LG Bourne said, these items and such is why I'm unable to go for things like the keto box. I don't know what good versus bad ingredients, which is why we continue to do reviews. We get messages from people saying, why do you do product reviews? Why do you push product? We're not pushing products. We want to be honest for the people who don't know.
They're not sure.
Or aren't sure, is this a good product? It's product reviews started the first time we decided to take the dive into buying what we thought was a healthier mayonnaise. When we bought Hellman's or Kraft or whoever it was, avocado oil mayonnaise, to find out that the first ingredient was canola oil. But then the product that I think is the best example, if you go to Costco and you see coconut clusters, first you see coconut. And then you're like, okay, coconut's a keto-friendly food. And then you see a giant says keto coconut clusters.
So that is for me. You're saying it's for me.
And then you turn it over on the label and you look at the ingredients and it's like, no. Like second ingredient is coconut sugar. But it says keto on the front. So we will continue, whether people like it or not, do product reviews of things that we find that we think are good and things that we find that we think are trash, and will trash it on video. Now, our motto has been, after almost completely ruining a small business early on when we had our channel,
if it's a small company,
if a company sends us something and says, can you try this and let us know what we think? If we think it is trash, we will tell them.
Like, I don't
and
think
then
this
say,
is
do
great.
you still want me to review a video? And if you guys don't like this process, I'm sorry, but I'm not going to hurt somebody who's taken
Just
their
getting
entire
started.
life savings and dumped it into a product for me to come online and trash it to 100,000 plus people between Instagram and YouTube. If they put it in a store, if they put it in the keto box, at that point, I'm kind of like,
It's fair game.
The gloves are off, because the second you go in a store, and where anybody can see it, and then you put keto on the front, the gloves are off, because too many people have an opportunity to buy that.
Right.
But if you're a small business, I'm going to tell you why I don't like it. And I'm going to say, like, I'll still release the video.
If you
want. Maybe some people will care, but I'm going to give you the opportunity to fix it. And that's up to you, because again, I don't want to hurt someone who's dumped their life savings in. But if you make a product with crap ingredients and then stick it in Walmart and put keto on it, I'm going to bash you publicly if it's a garbage ingredient. And listen, if you had the money to put it in Walmart, then it doesn't really matter, right? Tara said, you guys had such an amazing tip about eating the element as a pixie stick. I was out hiking one day and super low on electrolytes. My muscles were aching and my body hurt after eating a stick. I was good.
I'm so glad. It really is helpful. We're coming into warmer months, and that is something that really does help. If you've got, plans to go to, Disney World, Universal, like one of those, like, an attraction things where you might be out and not able to get to water easily. I would say the LMNT is probably the easiest. Like, it's very granular, and so it works great as a pixie stick.
MLG said natural flavors in the maltodextrin in element causes my RA to flare up. Then I would not. If you don't, then I would not use it. If you have problems, then don't use it. It's not the natural flavors; it's the maltodextrin in the natural flavors, and it's the same thing with Redmond. Redmond will because they have to have. They take the natural flavors are usually a liquid, like something like an apple juice or lemonade juice or something like that. Well, they have to powder it. And then when they powder it, they have to bind it to something. And most companies use maltodextrin because it's cheap.
Yeah.
That's what it is. It's cheap. And that's where you get a company like Chris from Salty, who's like, well, we're not using that. So find a better way. Yvonne, getting on and seeing you got my comment. Thank you. And yes, I'm going for 120 grams of protein in my eating window.
Way to go.
Perfect. And if you can get that in, great. I would encourage you to switch up your eating window every once in a while. Maybe one day do 1 o'clock, just so our body likes change.
Well, and it continues to train you in flexibility.
Yes.
Right. Think about like different scenarios that you're trying to train for. Because this weekend, my eating times were different because of just where we were at.
Barbara, do you add a whole egg to keto chow or just yolks? I tend to do the whole egg. Why? Protein. My only knock on keto chow would be if somebody is doing it, and they will even tell you the same thing. If somebody's doing it for their sole source of nutrition, which I do not recommend, that being like the only thing you're going to consume is keto chow 3 times a day. If you're doing that, I don't recommend that unless you're in a situation where you just can't eat. Like when I had dental surgery a couple of years ago, that's a different thing. If you're somebody who, like, if you have somebody who is a stomach issue and they're on a feeding tube, I would get them to use somehow keto chow instead. We've known people that have had to do that.
Kids even.
But for the most part, it should not be your sole source of nutrition. It should be one of your meals if you're going to utilize it. But for those who are using it as their sole source of nutrition, 75 grams of protein, which is each packet is roughly 23 to 25 grams of protein. I don't remember the exact number. That's not enough. And even they have said that if you're going to do it, find a way to add more protein. So I would add egg, so an egg is going to give you an extra 10 grams of protein in there. So I would add the whole egg. Who is this from? Kimmy, thanks for the $5 super chat. Please give your views on celery powder and nitrates in bacon. I'm ready to stop eating it altogether based on
some recent videos.
Okay. I'm not an opponent to nitrates in bacon. Dr. Berry has talked about this. I'm going to be honest.
We've cured our own bacon. I mean,
well, but we're using nitrates.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I mean, but like what I'm saying is like we're doing it on our own.
Yes.
And the process is needed.
Yeah. Well, there is uncured bacon and they use celery powder. It doesn't taste as good. I'm sorry. It just doesn't taste as good. Dr. Berry has talked about this. You're picking pepper out of poop when you're looking at nitrates and nitrites in your bacon. It's not your sole source of nutrition. You're not getting so much of it. And there's nitrites and nitrates in your saliva. Don't worry about it. We get so concentrated on the little things and miss the big things. I say this all the time. We're worried about, is there a little bit of nitrate in our bacon, but then we don't give a crap that we're showering in polluted water. Like, which one is ultimately more important? Which one are you actually exposing yourself to more? Anything that touches your skin goes in. Right? I mean, we're walking around and we're bombarded by Wi-Fi. Even if you live in the middle of nowhere, if your neighbors have Wi-Fi and you don't have it in your house, you still have it in your house. I'm not saying to eliminate Wi-Fi. Don't misunderstand me.
Yeah.
There. I'm saying, but we're worrying about these little things. You see people who are so worried about nitrites in their bacon, and then they warm all their food up in a plastic container in the microwave. Which is worse. Or they're drinking water from a plastic bottle. I'm going to tell you, drinking bottled water on a regular basis from a plastic bottle, like Dasani or Publix or any one of the brands that are Poland Spring, whatever brand is in your area, that is 10 times worse for you than having a little bit of nitrates in your bacon. And as far as the celery powder, it's a natural nitrate, which so are the other ones. It's just a more concentrated salt, but it's not something I would worry about, Kimmy. Don't let the haters get all over you. Enjoy your bacon.
Yeah.
The only bacon I would tell you to be careful of and limit would be ones that are overly sugared. There is sugar in most bacon. So if you look at the ingredients, if there's 1 carb or less and in reasonable serving size, which should be at least 2 slices, you're fine. Don't worry about it. It's part of the curing process. I think we're going to get off and just check real quick. Is there anything else? Chris said, a video from Dr. Berry that Joe was talking about regarding nitrates. Thank you very much, Chris. And he said, and Dr. Bickman also has a good video about the metabolic role of nitrates. Yeah. So Annette, it's an overblown issue. You have more nitrates in your mouth than in celery powder. Yeah. So, and again, if you're eating celery, which I don't understand why anybody eats celery, but if
it's the hair vegetable.
You're eating dental floss, then you're getting nitrates. We're working right now on the best. Make sure you subscribe to the channel for this video. This is a game. We're making a video on how to make the absolute best topper for your steak or burger.
Oh my gosh, it is so freaking good.
You are literally, when you try this, you are literally going to it's going to be like, why haven't I not been eating a burger like this for the rest of my life?
It is so good.
One of the ingredients is celery powder and celery seeds.
Get out of here. No.
Right. So, okay, we're going to get off, guys. Thank you so much for joining us. Rachel will be back live on Wednesday at 10 a.m. Eastern in our Meatheads Mighty Networks group. If you're not a member, you can go join Meatheads Mighty Networks for free. Members.2krazyketos.com. If you want to join the Meatheads group, which is the paid version where you get extra things like seeing our videos early, as well as Rachel's Wednesday live streams, you can do that for $10 or $25 a month. It helps support our channel, helps us on our mission. And then we will be back live on Thursday at 8:30 p.m. Eastern for our weekly live stream.
We love you guys.
Bye.